If you think battles end with a victor's roar, think again. If you're into military surprises, meet Asal Uttar. This is the day silence won. September 1965, Asal Uttar. Indian and Pakistani tank squadrons clash. Fields turn to metal and mud. Shells scream, engines roar, crews burn through ammunition like a match in wind. Then something eerie. Whole sectors go quiet. Not retreat. Empty racks. Tanks sit riddled, engines off, crews trapped inside, listening to the smoky air. Neither side can shoot. Both have run out of rounds. Men who'd faced murderous fire now stare at enemy armor they can't touch. The battlefield fills with silence, smoke, the metallic smell of spent war. No triumphal cheers, just the strange aftermath of a fight that ended because there was nothing left to keep fighting with. Asal Uttar, a reminder that sometimes war's loudest moment is the silence after the fire. If you're on the border, rumors don't stop bullets. If you're a soldier, a broadcast isn't proof. This is the story of radio. This is the story of reality. 1970s, Vietnam-Cambodia border. Governments announce a ceasefire. On the airwaves, remote units keep fighting. Why? They thought the broadcasts were enemy trickery. Commanders demanded written proof, delivered by neutral forces. Before lowering weapons, messages got lost. Mistrust spread. The front lines stayed hot. By the time official peace reached some units, months had passed. The war had effectively ended for them, twice, once on paper, once in practice. This is a lesson in how communication failures and battlefield doubt can stretch a war beyond its formal end. Radio said stop, but reality kept firing, until someone showed up with ink and a handshake. History isn't just announcements, it's the people who have to believe them. It was 1936, the chaos of the Spanish Civil War. A man stood before a firing squad. Bullets tore through him, but none hit his heart or his lungs. He fell, presumed dead, thrown into a mass grave with other bodies. Hours later, he woke up, surrounded by the cold weight of corpses and the smell of earth. Panicked, but alive. He clawed at dirt and rotting blankets until he broke into the open air. He didn't run home. He vanished into the chaos, assumed dead on paper. He survived the rest of the war under a false name. Always hiding, always a ghost. Some called it a miracle, others pure luck or stubborn will. Either way, he walked back from the grave. Death tried to claim him, and he kept walking. I'm sure you've heard of trench warfare, right? But what if the map sent you into a swamp instead of safety? Welcome to the East African Campaign. Imagine marching for days, following a map that lies. Rivers drawn in the wrong place on maps. Roads that simply vanish on the map altogether. Whole villages shown on maps where none existed. Entire columns wandered into wrong terrain and traps. Swamps, mud and water that trapped troops alive. Deserts that starved men for lack of water. Or straight into enemy lines and ambushes waiting. Some units vanished without a trace entirely. German commander Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck made it worse on purpose, tearing up signposts to leave allies lost completely, burning huts and homes to erase landmarks entirely, smashing landmarks so Allied units couldn't navigate properly. He turned geography into a weapon. Confusion became camouflage on the battlefield. The fog of maps acted like mortar shells. That's how paper changed the course of fights. Not bullets, instead bad cartography and deliberate sabotage. History's reminder, sometimes the deadliest weapon is unseen. It's the one you can't see on a map.
If you think battlefield heroes are obvious, think again. A medic chose duty over revenge and paid a price. This is the story they still argue about. In 2008, Army National Guard medic John Burek. He treated a badly wounded Taliban fighter in Afghanistan. Afghan soldiers said the man ordered civilian executions. They urged, "You should just kill him." Burek quickly patched him up on the battlefield. His actions saved the man's life that day. That fighter later testified in court about it. Back home, commanders told Burek, "You did the right thing." But we can't reward it, they said. Many versions of the story say he was punished. But official records show he received medals. Official records list a Bronze Star Award. They also list the Combat Medic Badge and several campaign ribbons. The real fallout wasn't about medals or courts. It was a moral split among soldiers and leaders. Some chose to follow orders no matter what. Others chose to follow anger and revenge. A few followed the medic's oath instead. What would you have done?
A German U-boat sank its prize, then couldn't surface. Triumph turned to a slow, deadly silence below decks. April 1943, Atlantic. A German U-boat hits its target. Mission complete. But damage below decks jammed the ascent to the surface. The hull held against the damage. No breach detected. The engines were dead, leaving the boat silent inside. Oxygen began its invisible theft inside the sealed hull. They shut down every system to conserve air. They cut the lights, plunging the boat into darkness. They sat in total darkness, listening to breathing become a metronome. Hour 1, air thinning, nerves on edge inside the sub. Hour 6, oxygen dangerously low, hope fading within the hull. Hour 18, every breath counted, below decks. They resurfaced at 18 hours, like survivors from a nightmare. Sailors stumbled up gasping for air. Some collapsed immediately on deck. A hard victory. Men who'd beaten the enemy were defeated by air. War isn't only shells and steel. Sometimes it's the silence after the fight.
A staring contest with rifles that lasted 72 hours and ended with a single crushing blast. In the Iran-Iraq War, 2 snipers crawled into opposite ruins of the same village. They saw each other, took aim, and neither moved. For 3 days they lay there, bound by fear, duty, and the weight of a rifle. No one dared make the first shot. Night offered no mercy, cold, exhaustion, and the constant hum of danger. They listened for breath, for a shuffle, for the smallest mistake. Each passing hour turned the duel into something almost surreal. Less combat, more obsession. On day 3, artillery slammed into the village. Buildings collapsed, dust swallowed the horizon, and both men were killed, without a single decisive shot between them. No winner. Just the terrible irony of 2 lives erased while neither ever blinked. History remembers the duel, if not its victor.